This is Michael Orrell of MobileBurn.com, and today I have the Nokia E63, brand new E-series smartphone for business users that Nokia's put out. It's based very heavily on the popular E71, except it lacks a few features that we'll go into a bit later. You can see this version's red, has a plastic body. It's about 13 millimeters thick, so it's a little bit thicker than the E71. Very clean lines, and unlike the E71, which was very prone to smudging and fingerprinting, the soft touch back on the E63 is quite nice. It stays nice and clean looking, and the glossy metallic look on the front is also quite attractive. Keyboard feels pretty much the same. Keys are a little squeaky, as you can hear, but they have a nice feel to them. D-pad and the control cluster around it are exactly the same as on the E71, which is to say it's pretty nice. Dedicated home key, calendar, contacts, and email. Two soft keys, call, send, and end keys right here. Up top, one of the few things that really kind of looks cheap on the device, this is the headphone port, and instead of being attached, it just has this little plug that goes in there. So if you're using 3.5mm headphones a lot, you're probably going to just lose this plug. If you're not using headphones or using wireless Bluetooth headphones instead, then it probably won't be a problem. You can see there's a micro USB connector here. There is a micro SD memory card slot here as well. Not too much on the bottom, except for the power port, because the micro USB connector actually doesn't do power on this device. Nothing on the right side. On the back we've got the 2-megapixel camera. Now, unlike the E71, which has a 3.2 megapixel autofocus camera, this is a 2-megapixel fixed focus camera. So that's one of the things that the device loses in order to save a little bit of money. Design of the back latch is a little different too. It's not spring loaded, it just has a little switch here that you flip down. Actually works pretty well. Nice and secure, easy to get off. The display on the E63 seems to be the same as on the E71. It's QVGA resolution, that's 320 by 240 pixels. One of the things it's lacking though is high-speed 3G data. The E63 works on 3G networks and comes in one of 3 different dual-band 3G configurations, but it lacks the HSDPA high-speed downloads that you would get otherwise on the E71. It is also missing a dedicated power key that we would see on the E71. As such, the end call key functions a little bit differently than it does on most Nokia devices. You press the end button here and it brings up the same power menu that you would get from the power button, so you can change profiles, or switch the device off that way. The overall build quality on the device is quite nice. It has a really solid feel. There's no creaks or anything like that, and it's very, very comfortable to hold in the hand. You can see the keys are fairly large, have a nice domed shape to them, very easy to use, and it feels just like an E71 in that regard. D-pad has a nice raised ridge around it, also very easy to grab. Good design overall. The E71 was a good design. I think this is actually a better design. I'm willing to take the extra 2mm of thickness and the plastics in order to get to something that's more comfortable to hold. Stays cleaner looking and just all around I think more attractive. One of the few faults I find in the design of the E63 is its lack of volume controls. Up here you have the micro USB and SD slots, and over here you've got nothing, and I'm sure Nokia saved a couple of dollars for the cost of the device by not putting a volume control in there, but it's really something I think it's a little too big of a sacrifice to make for a couple of dollars. Dialing is as you would expect. You just start going. Then hit the green key. Right soft key here will bring up the loudspeaker.
The number you dialed is not a working number. Please check the number and dial again.
You can see you use the D-pad to move left and right to change the volume.
EA0.
I want to show you how contact searching works. You saw before we just started dialing a number, but you can also just start typing a name. In this case I'm going to type Bob. And you can see that Bob Dole has shown up on a little list. Once you select him, you can move to the right and then you can pick what action you would like to take. You can also just bring up the contacts list in general and navigate that way. Search from inside the Contacts app works on both first and last name. So you can see if I go O space M, Michael Oral and Oliver Mack both match. J immediately starts showing John Doe. Pretty handy. I just wish you could use the multi-name search from the home screen.